Béatriz Seigner. You are the director of the film Los Silencios, selected at the Quinzaine des Réalisateurs. The film talks about the consequences of the wars in Colombia. Am I right? And why did you choose to talk about this?
So this story came to me with a friend of mine, a Colombian friend of mine, about her childhood. When she moved to Brazil, the Colombians is the second biggest immigration to Brazil, the recent immigration, because we have a law that Lula passed, our ex-president, that every refugee can work in our country and can receive security help from the government. So I got very touched by the story that she told me. I started to talk to a lot of Colombian families living there, and I discovered it was very usual for them to carry their death with them and to carry those psychological traumas as well. And I also admire them a lot for going through the peace agreement process, which is, I believe, is a very strong process. And I just want everybody to get inspired by that.
Could you tell us about the story of your film?
Yes, it's the story of a mother who has to deal with the disappearance of her daughter and her husband. And she's crossing the border to Brazil. It's shot in an island called the Island of Fantasy, which is an island that really exists in the Amazon River, just in the border between Brazil, Colombia, and Peru. And it's an island who stays 4 months under the water and 8 months over the water. And they have immigrants from all over living there and fighting to stay in that land. And so it's the journey of this mother crossing the border, dealing with the disappearance of her beloved ones and trying to still love and to still hope and to still believe.
Okay. And there's interesting work of lighting in the film, a contrast between the darkness and lights. So, how did you work on the lighting?
Yeah, there was two concepts that we work in the direction of the photography and on the art direction. One of them is to have parts of the image where you don't see anything, that is totally dark, because we are talking about things that sometimes we sense, some presence that we sense, but we don't see. So then we work with the sound in that region of the film. And another thing, and then we have a light that just moves around and we just see what is close to that light, but you don't see all the rest that is going on. Actually, there are three concepts. The other one is that a lot of things happens outside the frame. So you see that she's talking to someone outside the frame. There's a lot of actions that happens outside the frame that what we are seeing there. And then the third one is the fluorescent color, which is a color that is very used in the Amazon region by the population, the indigenous populations, and I don't know how to say in English. It's a population that lives on the river, on those houses in the river. We call ribeirinha in Portuguese. It's like on the border of a river. They live in the border of the river, and they use those colors to represent the spirits and to represent the ancestors. In many rituals, like with ayahuasca and other things, they say that that's how they see the presence of nature, that's how they see the presence of the ancestors together with them. So we decided to use the same colors to also mark this, and little by little the film starts to be more and more fluorescent. The three main direction concepts of the language of the film, and also there's a lot of sound design that we did to create those presence that you sense.
Okay. Is it your first time at the festival, and how is it going for you?
It's the first time with a film selected. It's my second time here. I came here with this project 6 years ago, and that's where I met my co-producer, Thierry Lenouvelle from Cinext Promotion, and Daniel Garcia from Colombia. So we started to develop this co-production because it's a co-production between Brazil, France, and Colombia, and we started to develop it here 6 years ago. But it's the first time with the film selected, so it's a whole new experience to be here, and we feel very glad to be recognized, to have our work recognized in such a great place as La Quinzaine.
Well, great. Thank you so much for taking the time, and yeah, thank you.